My name is Daphne, founder and host of 98%. 98% originates from one statistic that only 2% of collegiate athletes go pro. Then it hit me. What happens to the other 98%? This platform will be sharing amazing stories from former collegiate and pro athletes who are navigating life after sports. We are here to celebrate their journey and share experiences to encourage and inspire. You never know who will hear your story and be impacted by your journey. Welcome to 98%. My guest today is Tobi Fawehinmi. Come on in, Tobi. Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the
Oh,
show.
my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, Tobi. I am honored to be sitting in your presence right now.
Good.
Let me tell the audience why. Tobi is a 3-time Paralympian athlete in the Tokyo Olympics, Rio Olympics, and the London Paralympics. In Tokyo, 6th place long jump. Rio, 5th place long jump. London, 5th place triple jump, and 10th long jump. And this is 2012. Were you even in high school?
Yeah, I was. I started the Paralympics at the age of 16.
Golly, amazing. And even in high school, you competed against able-bodied.
Yep.
How would you describe your disability?
So my disability, I have brachial plexus injury. So coming out the womb, the doctor tore the nerves and the veins in my left shoulder and neck, so which caused the injury to happen. So what I always say is I guess my head was too large to where out the womb my head and my right arm was out, so the doctor ended up twisting and pulling, which then caused the nerves and the veins to tear. So that's how I would that's how I say what happened. So it just caused a muscle dystrophy to where the arm itself just didn't get the muscle and the ability to grow as time went on. So it kind of just stunted the growth.
Right. So how was it like navigating growing up?
Ooh, I would say with being an African male and just having the community that I had around me, it wasn't as difficult, especially with my family. They made me feel comfortable. They made me feel strong. They made me understand who I was at a young age and just never limiting me. So I would say, yes, it has its ups and downs because, children can be harsh. Children can be mean at times, you know what I'm saying? But I would say growing up, I'm glad and I'm definitely blessed to even be here today. So I'm happy. It's good.
I love that. I know the Nigerian community, we're so close-knit and we're just a strong community. So how did you get into track and field?
Okay, so I would say once I got into the 7th grade, I played football, tackle football, I played basketball, and my coach, so after football and basketball season, my coach was like, hey, you should just try out, and when we're young, we can do anything, you can do 10 events in track, you can, whatever. So it kind of just was like, hey, I think you should go out for the track team. So I ended up going out and I started out as a hurdler and a sprinter, and it wasn't really my thing, but I would say as I went into the 8th grade, I started jumping, and with even playing basketball, even at a young age, my coach saw that, oh, this kid can jump. Like, he's getting rebounds over everybody, and so it was like, okay, we should try you out in the long jump. And that's kind of just how everything just got started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get exposed to the Paralympic Games?
So in high school, my junior year, we had a track meet at TCU. So we always have, every year we have a track meet at TCU for all the high school kids and stuff. So after I had ended up winning the long jump, and after the competition, a guy walked up to me and handed me a card. I read the card, it said disability sports. At the time, I've been somebody who has competed with able-bodied people my whole life. So it was like, kind of like a slap in the face when I read it, you know? So I ended up, like, as soon as he turned around, I tossed the card. So at the end of the track meet, my coach came up to me. He was like, hey, did somebody hand you a card? And I was like, nah, I ain't get no card from nobody. And then on the Monday, I went back to school. My jumps coach, she was like, did somebody hand you a card? I was like, yeah, somebody handed me a card. And she was like, well, hey, this is the Paralympics. They say you get to travel the world. You get to wear all this gear. You get to compete in front of millions of people. And I was like, that's cap. You're lying. Like, ain't no way. Like, you know, so it was just like this mind-blowing thing presented to me at the time because I didn't know that there was a community out there like the Paralympics. So they flew me out to Arizona for my first track meet, and like, when I tell you, it was like the craziest thing that I've ever seen for myself, because with being somebody with a disability, there's not a lot of us out there that you would just see on a daily basis. But with going to that first track meet, I saw blind people long jumping. I saw people running with no legs, like, you know, no arms. And it was just like, I couldn't even compete myself because I was too worried about what was going on with the next person. And it was just like, it turned my perception on life a whole 180. So that's really how I got started.
Wow. And this was your first time at the Paralympics, so
Yep.
2012. You were still in high school or just about to leave?
Still in high school. This is my junior year in high school. So yeah, just finished my junior year, going into my senior year.
Right. And at this point, from I guess the beginning of that point, like, you were competing against able-bodied people. You were winning against able-bodied
Yep,
people.
yep.
So what was being recruited for college like? What was that experience for you like?
Yeah. So even after starting my senior year, I had I did an indoor season, and then I got hurt right at the beginning of the indoor season. So I had missed like January, February, March of the high school season. So my first track meet coming back was, again, the TCU track meet, and I ended up winning that. And right then, so I ended up winning, and it was a UTA coach that was there, the TCU coach that was there. TCU had ended up like offering me, but you know, I was trying to go to school for free, so you know, and they weren't really giving me any or presenting any money. But the UTA coach was very consistent and definitely reached out to me a lot. So I remember just like, I didn't know anything about the college system and how to get recruited or how it worked. I just knew I wanted to go to school for free, you know. So I just remember like a couple weeks after that, UTA coach was like, and I was getting a couple offers, but he was the most consistent one, and one that just kind of showed more love than anybody else, and just made me feel comfortable. So I was like, you know, I think this would be a good decision, because even before, I remember just wanting to go out of state. I was like, I live down the street. I ain't trying to stay out here. But it ended up really being one of the best decisions that I ended up making, because it's like home. You know, I live literally like 15 minutes down the street from UTA. So, and it was a family. Like, can't take nothing from the experience. So that's pretty much how my college recruiting went.
Did you ever feel like there was a divide between you and your teammates because of your disability?
Nah, literally everybody at UTA made me feel like, from the first day I stepped on the like orientation to like, you know, the first meeting we had with the track team, everybody literally made me feel like I was at home. Because being somebody with a disability, you can feel alienated at times because you're different. You're literally built different than everybody else. So having those people, like the senior class, especially, that was already there, like that was getting ready to graduate, those people, they took me in like little brother type stuff, and it was definitely one of those experiences. Like, we ended up winning indoor and outdoor and cross country. So, you know, they call it a triple crown. That we had that for my freshman year. And it was like so big because everybody ended up believing, you know, everybody believes in you, you know? So I definitely enjoyed it. And they made me feel like I was home at any point.
I love that. Yeah. I think it's really important for your teammates to really take everyone in, you know, regardless of, you know, their past or even a disability or like an injury. I know like when I had my injury, I don't think my teammates really embraced me. I really was on an island. So it's so good to hear that, like, you know, that they embraced you and they treated you as family.
For sure.
I saw that you competed in the World Championships, and this was 2017, right? You weren't even out of college yet, were you?
I had actually just graduated. Yeah, just graduated.
Yeah. Let's read off your World Championship. You have 5 medals actually. In 2019, you got bronze. Were you only long jumping at this point?
Yes. So after 2017, they ended up taking the triple jump away from my class in the triple jump. I mean, in the Paralympics. So unfortunately, I haven't triple jumped since 2017, and I would say triple jump is probably my better event, but you know, sometimes it just depends on the weather.
Do you know why they took it away?
It's kind of politics at times. Sometimes it could be like the amount of athletes in the particular class, or they want to try and give another class opportunity to have different events. So my class, I would say we are probably, so my class is the F46, 47 class, which is arm disability. So either you're amputee or some type of dysphoria or something like that. So my class is pretty packed. There's a lot of us in there. Unfortunately, they just decided to take the triple jump out, and yeah, it kind of sucks because I'm the world record holder in my class. So
give us another stat. No, it's crazy because I mean we really don't get exposure to the Paralympics first and foremost. But even like in the Diamond League, I think this year they tried to take out the 200, the triple, all for what? Politics. And it's just like that's for some people that's their bread and butter, you know. So it's kind of disheartening that like why would we have all these events that we've been doing since elementary, you know, summer track, and then you guys are stripping us of our events that we have built our skill set on and practice over and over and over again to only take that away. And especially when you're in the professional, Tobi's a pro athlete, when you're in that professional field and like they're stripping you of the event that you are most skilled at, like how do you make your living?
It's tough. I'm not even gonna lie. Look, by God's grace, you know, he gave me some type of ability to long jump as well. So that's kind of just been how I've been getting around. 2016, I tried to pick up high jump, but it really wasn't there. It was going okay, and then I ended up getting an injury. So it's kind of like we just pushed that to the side. This year we tried to do it again, and injury came as well. So it was like we just gonna stick to the long jump because it's obviously something I've been doing for a while. So it's difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I have times where I'm like, man, I wish they brought the triple jump back. But it is what it is. You just kind of got to work with what you got. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I told my coach, like, I'm triple jumping next year. It's for fun. I don't even care. Like, I gotta go back because that's sometimes that's where my heart is.
Yeah. What was it like to compete in the Paralympics this year? Being that it was a COVID year, you had to wait an extra year. What was that?
Man, it was tough. I literally remember the day when we were training, and I'm at the Olympic Training Center in Chula Vista, and obviously we have Olympic and Paralympic athletes there. And obviously the talk was kind of going around, but the day that they said like the Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games were canceled, it was like, am I in a TV show right now? Is this like a movie? Because all the hard work and dedication and in anything you do when you do something for a long time, and you know the games only come around every 4 years, so it was just kind of like, dang, like what do I do now? Like we ended up continuing to practice just in hope that they say like, okay, maybe no fans, or because you know it went from like, okay, no fans to the games are canceled. So even just waiting that time, because even during like lockdown, we were still training and like, but little by little, just to keep our level of fitness up. And then, you know, the next thing you know, you kind of blink and you're there. You know, you're back in your off-season training, and now you're just getting ready for the game. So it was a dope experience. Like I won't take anything away from my journey on this year because it's been very up and down. But like I said, it's by God's grace that I'm even sitting here right now and just had the opportunity to be out there and represent, you know, my people, my friends, my family. So I enjoyed it. It was fun.
So you've been in 3 Paralympics. Are you gonna do a 4th?
4th is the go-to.
Yeah.
If my body allows me to go that far, for sure. I think 2024 might potentially be my last go-around, but you know that's all in God's hands. Just gonna allow Him to take me wherever He sees.
Yeah. So now it's past the Paralympics. Mm-hmm. You have 3 years until the next one.
Right.
What is life looking like for you right now?
Yeah.
Are you preparing for a life even like without sports?
Right. So I think life after sports is so important just for anybody. High school athletes have to go through it, college athletes have to go through it, and professional athletes have to go through it. So it's a thing that has definitely always been on my mind, especially in college. My advisor was very, very big on life after sports. So I'm in a sort of a transition phase right now where I'm searching and looking for things that I want to do after track. Because sometimes you can just tell, like your body will let you know, like, hey bro, time is kind of coming. And so I'm definitely doing a couple like job searches and networking with a couple of people just to see what kind of avenue I want to go down.
Who do you attribute your success to?
My mom and my sister. Those are my rocks. Like, I'm a mama's boy to the T, so like just the like adversity and even with my sister as well, like the stuff that they've been through and just the support and love that they've showed me, like, you know, it's my parents and my family, so it's like they ain't got no choice, but everybody has a choice. But just the compassion and love and transparency and the ability to just say like, hey bro, you got it. Like, never give up. Like, it's in you. It's always been in you. So yeah, they're like my number one fans. I'm theirs as well. So it's those two for sure.
It's so important to have a support system and to even make sure that they are recognized. So right. I just want to make sure that they know, mom and sis, that, you know, you guys are important, and Tobi couldn't have made it without you guys. Yeah, I definitely attribute my success to my parents as well. Way more invested than I was in this one.
That's my sister.
So another question I want to ask you, because I genuinely do not know this. Mm-hmm. So we have, like in the professional track and field world, there's right. the Diamond League, there's, mm-hmm. you know, like, where do y'all compete? Or do you guys have meets?
I love that question.
Yeah.
I really do, because there's a divide between, in my opinion, there's a divide between the Paralympic and Olympic realm. As far as opportunity as far as being shown. Like, we have very small meets where, like, okay, we have a meet called Desert Challenge. We have in Arizona every year. One that, you know, I think it's maybe top performer out of all events may win prize money, you know, and yeah. So really some of that stuff is just recreational, and as a Paralympic athlete, we dedicate our time, effort, energy just as much as anybody else does. So it's like, we don't have the same opportunities as Olympic athletes. We don't have any diamond leagues, you know, and even in the US, because like in England, the Great Britain team, and even in Germany, like, they show their Paralympic athletes love, in Brazil love. Like, it's kind of in the US, and it's not to bash or anything, but I would say, like, the opportunity to just show the world, like these are superheroes out here. These are individuals that are doing crazy things, but we don't have the opportunity to showcase that. It's like only every 4 years it comes around where Paralympics gets on TV. What about the other years that we have training? You know, so it's tough. I would say it's definitely tough, opportunity-wise, to make a living as a Paralympic athlete. Yeah, it's hard.
So Toby, we're gonna play a game called Wordsmeet.
Okay.
So you have five words on your card, and you have to work them into a conversation.
Okay.
Casually. So I'm just gonna start. You know, I don't know, like, I've never played this game before,
Right.
and I feel like it's a nightmare because I'm gonna fail.
Nah, you good. We're gonna make it work. We're about to make it happen. So, yeah, I mean, straight out the gate, how do you feel like with the 98%? How's that been going?
I mean, 98% has been going pretty well. I just have to applaud myself
Okay.
for, you know, making this happen. I think it's, you know, when you have a dream and then, like, how do you execute it, you know?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's such a coincidence that, like, you know, having an African background, like, we were born to succeed. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, we were born to succeed, and they fed us well, did they not? They fed us well. I had, when I went to dinner with my parents, we had jollof rice and egusi soup. You know, it was good stuff.
Right. What's crazy is I've been dreaming bad since I've been at the center. Like, it's been all I've been wanting: jollof, egusi, fufu, all of that. Like,
you know, when I go to sleep at night,
right.
I just dream of, you know, all the good stuff, some chin chin.
Right, 'cause it's so unlikely that in California that you find what you need out there. Like, I need African food all the time.
All the time, and after you eat your African food, you gotta drink some coffee so you don't fall asleep.
Right. For real, because if that's the case, you know, I'm just gonna snuggle up in my bed and I'm just gonna go to sleep. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
We got it?
Yes.
We got our 5 words.
Right.
Thank you so much, Toby.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it.